We are back from break,
Hi.
and we were just hooting and hollering about stuff,
Uh,
folklore.
We're doing a
Um,
lot of hooting and hollering.
we were really yeah.
we talk about Walmart.
I was saying Jake posted something in the chat, and apparently clicking on it does not disappoint. I haven't clicked on it yet, but
I do not encourage anyone to click on it, but the payoff is pretty good. There
Payoff.
is a photo. There is a photo
oh,
of me.
ooh, tantalizing. Ooh. Hannah, are you ready to get asked some questions and provide answers to those questions?
Yeah.
Hell yeah! All right, let's get into it then.
Yeah.
First question I have for you right off the
Ooh,
bat.
very formal. Yes.
As a public folklorist,
Mm.
what is and how do you conduct a community survey?
Ooh, carefully. But actually, so I have, let's see, I have worked on many a survey in some capacity, but I've never been the one to successfully begin one. I did apply for a grant for one, but Flower City Folk was too much of a baby organization, and I don't blame the NEA for not giving me money. But we'll give it another go. So how do you do a community survey? In deep partnership with the community itself is the short answer. The let's like what level of like how do you do it should we go
like,
into?
maybe first is like
Like,
what's
what
the goal,
is?
like what is the goal of it, and like
Yeah.
what do you do, like what
Yes.
why is it a survey, and,
Yeah.
and how do you do that as a folklorist?
Yes. So at least one person listening has been included in a survey of Folklife, Dad, GB Davis. So he has so he has a particular perspective. So he should chime in the chat. I don't tell him to talk very often, but this is the one exception. Uh, JK Dad. Uh, um, but so the point of a community survey is to document all of the theoretically like all or like some portion of the community kind of like community-based cultural resources in a given like predetermined area. So very often it's defined by like county lines or state lines or a chunk of counties. In Dad's case, it was the I-65 corridor, I-69, 65, I think it's 65, the road to Chicago. Yeah. Um, so that was like a particular like swath of land. We're from central Indiana, so we were right along the corridor. But it's this like predetermined thing. So traditionally, a folklorist, goes and does all the recordings. They get to know the people in the community, talk to organizations, figure out what they want to have documented. They organize a bunch of interviews, do a bunch of interviews, process the interviews, so that you're kind of systematically collecting this data that is otherwise not real, like quantifiable, right? So you might not necessarily have like word clouds, but after you do a survey, someone, your folklorist, and theoretically the staff of whatever organization, has a really specific understanding of like what's happening in a place in terms of folk life. So there are many end goals of a survey, right? So it can be carried out in many different ways. You might be doing an exhibit, you might be doing public programs, you might just be doing a survey, which I think is many folklorists kind of dream to just do a survey for survey's sake, like just do folklore, like for fun, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to learn about a place. But very often there's a specific deliverable that you're working towards, so that shapes your work too. And it can look like lots of different things, but generally the point is just to figure out what's going on. Generally.
And I have a follow up to that too, because there's like because it's part of the community and sort of like in service of a public good. How do you make that kind of research accessible to the public or to the community that you work with once it's kind of work? I understand work is never truly done, but once the project is sort of phased out of the collection phase, how do people get access to that?
So again, this depends on like what organization you're working with or multiple organizations you're working with. Depends who your funder is. But theoretically, you can share the fieldwork directly with the people you're including in your documentation. So like send them a flash drive link, email, whatever, with their relevant materials in it. And generally, you also try to, again, emphasis on try, you try to put it in a publicly accessible archive, or if not several archives. And in previous positions, this has been really hard because there's often no like centralized place for this stuff to go. People are doing field work in order to achieve the end goal, not to just do documentation and make it available to the community. So it's one of those things that folklorists really need to have like a deep think about. There are lots of things we need to have a deep think about, but we do have a habit of doing field work in order to fulfill a goal that we've imposed. Like we want to do an exhibit on this kind of art, or we want to do a public program because it looks good to our funding agency, not what I think is the ultimate goal, to like of reflecting the needs of the actual communities we're working with. So again, many answers here. I have to say I've gotten some flack in the past for not always sharing fieldwork. And that's totally fair. That's absolutely fair. But it should be said, especially to folklorists who are just starting out, that it's incredibly hard to do everything in a survey like you're supposed to do it. It's really, really fucking hard, especially if it's just you and you're detached from your organization. Lots of us are working states away, counties away, whatever, from our other people. So if it's just you and you're doing all this work, it can actually genuinely be really hard to share it with the people you've actually documented. So, do your best for sure.
Yeah.
Some organizations have no interest in actually sharing this field work, which is also disappointing.
That's so
but yeah, I don't know. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
But it's something I've had to think about a lot as I get my own organization up and running because I haven't been great about it in the past. But I don't know if most of us have been any good at it at all. I mean, some of us share some stuff, right? Yeah, I mean, it's actually much easier said than done. I know it sounds really easy to just send a drive link to one more person, but I don't think it actually is at all. There's lots of stuff wrapped up in it. So,
yeah,
I don't know. One of those things. One of many things.
that was a lot of really great ideas for that.
All right, that was
well, and it depends. It just, you're so right though that it really does depend like on so many other factors beyond yourself too, which I think is something people forget because they think that like the field worker is this like rogue individual on pursuit of knowledge or what, and that's just really not the case. It's like all of these institutions it's like all these institutions and community partners and people coming together to kind of co-create a project, ideally, which means that it doesn't always look the way you want it to, which is so fascinating.
I don't know if anything has ever looked how I wanted it to. Like, ever. With any level of control over the project. Like, there's too much to wrangle. It's like you really just kind of have to give it a go and forgive yourself for whatever you haven't been able to do and try again next time. I don't know. That's why I tell my students, like, we don't always get a release form signed. And it sucks, but, like, is it the end of the world? Probably not. Generally, you've had an above board kind of conversation where there's a clear understanding about who you are and what you're doing. You have verbal consent. So, I don't know. Again, depending on the angles of the project, like, you just kind of have to cut yourself some slack. Like, it's hard.
Being a folklorist isn't always easy.
No, it's not. This is the least of it. Like, paperwork is the least of it, but,
Yeah. All right.
There's a lot tied up in it.
I've got another question for you, and it's a question about space and place. Why are there so many folklorists in New York?
I've been waiting for this one.
Oh, okay. We'll go off.
Yeah. So I got up super, super early this morning to drive my ass to Syracuse for the New York Folk Life Roundtable. We have, which is like a cool thing that most states don't have. I know Maryland has a network of folklorists. And of course, there are, in many places, multiple folklorists working. But in New York, we have a whole network of people. It's amazing. And I'm really lucky to be a part of it because we have like 30-ish people working as folklorists in some capacity in their like day-to-day jobs. Or, just like on a contract basis. some substantial part of their life is spent as a folklorist, which is really rare. We're a big state, and these people are really spread out. But we have people, which is so great. I'm thinking of Indiana and Kentucky, where there are a handful of people. Kentucky's a little different because you have the university program.
Yeah.
Whatever. Mm-hmm. But they're not a lot of people. So there are the short answer for why there's so many of us and why we're in this network together is Robert Barron.
Networker extraordinaire.
The one and only Robert Barron.
Oh my god.
So maybe I hope he's in the chat, maybe I don't.
We hope he's in the chat. He's the one who hangs out the latest with us at
Definitely.
AFS at the American Folklore Society conference. So.
Hey Bobby, what's up?
What's up?
No, I know where Robert Barron is, and it's not here. He's at the bar at the Marriott Syracuse.
Oh my god.
I'm sure he is.
Oh my god.
But he recently retired, and I think anyone working in public folklore has read his work and has probably met him, because he is quite the networker. He really likes his networking, and he's very good at talking to grad students. He loves talking to grad students. But he recently retired from the New York State Council on the Arts, and if he were in the chat, he would correct me promptly, but I think he got that job in '86. Maybe earlier, honestly. But he started the New York Folklife program, and he continued to shepherd it through the next 35 years. He had that one job. Like, that was his job. He was a New York folklorist. And as is the case for many state folklife programs, I know it was shaky at first. There was weird funding. He wasn't exactly full-time for a few years. Maybe he was, but he's like working in a different capacity too. Mm-hmm. The normal kind of back and forth stuff. But like, he is single-handedly kind of fostered this network. And I don't want to give him too much credit, in the same way that I don't want to let my dad talk too much, But he really has done a lot of really good work in New York. And there's so many other fabulous people here, like Ellen McHale, who's the director of New York Folklore, who have, kind of helped keep Robert afloat and help keep this network afloat.
That's so cool.
So it's been a really cool thing. But there's, Robert's the very specific reason we're all here. But it's nice. New York's a nice place.
How does Flower City Folk fit into this network, and what's going on with your great project these days?
Well, thank you for asking, Daisy.
I don't know. I know that. You can't see my sign because of the way my camera is. I don't know if you saw it earlier because I already made it, but it does say Flower City Folk is excellent.
I saw that it was up. I didn't get a chance to read it.
Yeah, that's what it says this week. So
that's really cute. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So wait, what was the question?
The question is, what is Flower City Folk, and what are you up to these days?
Yeah, so Flower City Folk is another product of Robert Barron's hard work. So I was working at New York Folklore. It was a very traditional kind of contract gig. It went on a little too long. I decided I wanted to move to Rochester, and someone on the board at New York Folklore, Jim Hall, who has been involved with folklore for a really long time in Alabama. And so when he moved up here, he got involved, yada, yada, yada. We've basically cooked up this plan with Robert to get me situated at RIT. And Flower City Folk is the outcome of that. There has not been Archie's losing it in the
background. Was going to say, is that the dog? I was about to ask if, like...
It's extremely distracting. He's fully, paws up on the sofa.
For a second, I was like, please let that be the dog, because if I bring it up and it's Jake, I'm going to feel so bad!
What the hell are you doing, Jake? No, that is Archie being grumpy that Jake stopped touching him. Anyway, yeah, it's very cute. Anyway, there has not been a full-time folklorist working in Rochester in 20 years. So we were really excited to figure this out. But it's been a 3-4 year long process of getting some funding and getting me situated at RIT. So that is how Flower City Folk came to be. And I'm very happy about it. It's so exciting to finally kind of exist. It's been we've been talking about it for years. We have a logo. We have a Facebook page and an Instagram. We're working on a website. But it's very early days. But we are an organization serving Monroe County and specifically the city of Rochester, which is really great because we need people here to figure out what's happening in Rochester. It's a really complicated place. I love it, but it's a complicated place, and we have lots of really interesting stuff happening here. So it's fun to be able to focus some time and energy after years of that weird kind of contract stuff in grad school.
Yeah.
In one place, and really put a lot of time and energy into Rochester. So that's what we're doing. We're involved in some really cool projects very early on. I've been talking about them all day. But like we've got a lot on our plate. And it's good. It's really exciting. Like I said, we are situated in the university, but in the same way that TAI is or Kentucky Folklife is. We're in a department, but that's not like we don't have academic kind of end goals. We're very we do lots of place-based work. We are out in the city. I don't spend that much time in the office. I do teach, which is fun. But we're spending time like out at meetings and stuff, and it's great. We're like in Rochester doing stuff, which is novel to me and really exciting.
That is so cool. That sounds like such a dream career move. That's
it
awesome.
Is.
Yeah, you're like,
is.
I'm not like trapped in the cycle of gig folklore work forever, and I feel like I'm doing something important and like fulfilling. That's so cool.
It feels like that now, but
awesome.
like we all know the nature of folklore work, right? It's sketchy. It's really sketchy.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah, and we put ourselves in sketchy situations because that's how you get any money at all. But it sucks. It absolutely sucks. I was really lucky to get the gig at New York Folklore. I had good pay. It paid me, I got money to move to Ithaca. I had to beg for it, but I did get benefits eventually. It was good. Compared to lots of contract stuff, it was really good. But it was soul sucking. It was really, really hard work. Like we all know people who are working in multiple states at the same time, who are driving their tiny, like shattered cars from place to place, trying to figure stuff out, praying they stay in one piece when they do field work. I'm very, very lucky to not be in that situation anymore. And it is really exciting, but I have no idea what's happening.
What? Oh my god! The truth comes out.
I know, but so like it's a really good, really exciting thing, and I'm so grateful because I've had a very kind of like I've had a lucky career. Like obviously I'm okay at my job, but I'm very lucky to have lots of people who really support me.
Seriously, and not like the community, the people who hype you up. Like that's it. That's what we all need.
I know. Like I'm really glad to have had so much help over the years. But like I don't how do you establish an organization? Like I still have that wonderful support. I have all the support in the world and I'm still just like, what the fuck? Like I have to pick a board. I have to write a mission statement. Like no one teaches you how to do that in grad school. I was lucky to be able to like learn how to write a grant, and to have had worked on many grants before working more independently. But like, wow, this is
relatable. Yeah. We'll circle back to that. But before circling back there, we have a kind of maybe a more like in the field question for you that I think would be really fun. There's, of course, a rich American tradition of protest. We were wondering if you could talk a little bit about how folklore, or about how protest is folklore, or can be seen as folklore.
Yeah, you know me well. This is good.
Thank the sleuths, everybody, please.
Thanks, sleuths. Yeah, so if you were watching Daisy play Crazy Plates, you heard some comments from me about the popo. And yeah, I mean, personally, I'm really involved in protesting. But the entire act of protesting is folk life, right? There's nothing institutional about it. Being institutional, like a protest could not feasibly be institutional. That completely defeats the purpose of a protest. You're fighting against this higher power in a protest. So by nature, theoretically, So by nature, it's all folk life, right? Of course, you've got chants, you've got all kinds of like uh, ornamentation, like body lore kind of stuff. You've got signs. You have organization. If you want to do like the occupational folklore of protests, there's all kinds of crazy like organization happening. All kinds of initiation. There are many, many levels of folk life in a protest. Even even if you don't give a shit about protesting personally, it could be it's effectively a whole genre in itself, right? If you taught a customs and ritual section, you could throw protest in there, and it would be right there along with like religious ceremonies. Like, yeah, it's absolutely folk life, and it's interesting personally. I've talked about this with some of my students because the American Studies class I teach is very I don't want to say social justice oriented, but we spend a lot of time talking about racial inequality, kind of systemic problems locally, yada, yada, yada. And folklore Hannah comes out really quick. It's fun because there's this part of me that does protest adamantly. I'm very protesty. By nature, I have a big mouth, and I love making a t-shirt. But in Rochester, we have these huge problems with the police. We have super corrupt local politics. We have many layers of things to complain about. And I'm as a city resident who is starting this organization and intends to be deeply invested in Rochester for a long time. I have many opinions. I have many, many opinions, and I don't hesitate to protest personally. Professionally, I'm also immensely interested in all of this, but it's like a step too far to make like all of Flower City folks programming about protests, right? Like, there's this weird situation where you have to like take a step back and be like, well, what's appropriate? Like, as like, because the organization is me, right? Like, I am Flower City folk. So as the organizer in that sense, you kind of have to take a step back and figure out like, well, what do we want to do as an organization? What do we want to support, and to what extent? I cannot separate the fact that I'm very protesty and that Rochester has immense equality issues from the fact that I'm a folklorist. It's impossible. So there's lots of work to be done.
What's like one, if I could be that narrow, thing like concern that you might have as a folklorist doing participant observation at a protest?
Ooh, dying?
Oh my god. I guess.
I mean, I'm white, so I'm not gonna die, but I could lose an eye. I could lose a leg, but like quite literally. I don't know what to tell you. Like that's it. It's sketchy. It's beyond sketchy. I never really, I don't know if you had told 19-year-old Hannah that Jake has sent a photo of to the chat that she'd be getting pepperballed and tear gassed on a semi-regular basis. Like, I don't know if she would have bought that, Right. But tear gas really adds an interesting element to participant observation and like the traditional kind of fieldwork thing. I didn't see that one coming.
A whole sensory experience.
It really does.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about what's it, Pink's sensory ethnography. Anyway.
Oh God, yes,
which I like, but yeah, Dom,
if I can hop in with a comment from chat, GB Davis Folk Art says Mom didn't like that answer.
I know she didn't. I'm sorry, Mom. I also know Mom's really proud of me because Mama taught me how to protest. She's done her time. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Mom. Yeah. Go ahead.
I've got one more question for you, and then I have a couple funsy questions.
Okay.
We'll go fast.
I'm ready.
Okay, so the Ranger Lore website is beautiful. It's very good. Everybody should look at it after the stream. Please do not leave this show right now. Please look at it after.
Stay forever.
But we will post it in the chat. You're always on fire on Twitter, also. So the question is, what digital media skills did you self-teach, And which ones did you feel like you had support for institutionally or like from programs? Like which ones did you teach yourself and which ones did you have like extra support for?
Yeah. So when I was an undergrad, I was a declared folklore major from like day one, which is not a thing.
Me too. What? Wait,
God.
Where'd you go?
No.
Wait. Shit. What? Is this in Oregon?
No, IU.
Oh, well, that makes sense. The only other place that I could have. Well, I don't think you can anymore at University of Oregon since Lisa left. You can minor, but I don't think you can major.
Okay.
Anyway,
that's sad. I didn't know.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
I'm glad to know that you're one too. Because I think it's so funny. Like who, why would you do that? But where was I going with this? Oh, right. Yeah. So as a declared folklore major, I was obviously really into it. I was very happy to continue on that path, but like I was also really dedicated to the field by the time I was like 22, which is crazy, right? In retrospect, I was like hardcore, like this is what I want to do. So
this
before
is hashtag relatable, as they say on Twitter.
I know. But I didn't know it at the time. Like I didn't know that there were other people like me. Because I was the only one at IU who was like this. But the year before I graduated, I realized like, oh, that's not actually that employable. So I I decided to do an informatics minor. And in some ways, it really helped me because I could put on my CV that I had learned Python and that I could use Creative Suite. And half of that remains true. But it didn't help me with my employability at all, I don't think. I don't know if the hiring committee at New York Folklore even read my resume in retrospect. I have no idea. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, no one gave a shit that I learned Python. No one cared. It worked out that I got a job in folklore, and that's just how it went. They weren't interested in the other stuff at all. Which is fine. So I did a lot of social media. My first task at Traditional Arts Indiana was to revamp the social media and actually like set up a Facebook page because it was still like relatively new at the time. Get us on Twitter, and create like some kind of digital online identity. And John K was great about like just letting me have free reign and figure out what I wanted to do with that. And he's done that with lots of other students in other capacities. Yeah, Dom included, for sure. Lots of people. He's really good at people just like letting people go and like do their thing. So he was one of those people who like really supported me along the way. He just let me figure it out. And I did. I figured out social media for TAI. I don't think I even sucked at it. We did some clever stuff. We did like holiday gift giving guides from traditional artists and stuff. It was fun. It was really fun. Those skills did appeal to KFP, and I did go on to, like, I worked on the WordPress and I did this Ranger Lore website. I continued to run the social media. New York Folklore had me do some social media that backfired in the end. They weren't happy with what I was posting, etc. But like the social media stuff, I think I did just kind of figure out as a millennial on the internet, who was probably online too much. That's the kind of thing you can feel out. As a public folklorist, you learn how to get good at writing for the public, and figuring out your audience. So that worked really nicely. I think I don't suck at social media because I know what people will generally think is funny, I think, unless you read my Twitter, which in retrospect, some of it's funny. Some of those replies. Some of those replies. I know jokes. I know the emojis. But like the thing is, at nonprofits or any small arts kind of organization or cultural organization, like just being able to like actually fluently use the internet is a really big asset. People, like the directors, don't have time to even worry about it. My phone is just like, ooh, oh God, Sydney's watching. Hi, Sydney. Sydney says I know jokes. So like just being a millennial who was like extremely online worked in my worked to my advantage for sure. The website is an outlier. The website is not. I don't do any web anything anymore, like ever. And I'm amazed that I made that happen. But that was a product.
It looks pretty good. You did good.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
It's really clunky, but that was the product of my informatics minor. That was the one thing that, like, you know, I could actually figure out because of that. I can't believe I did that. I'm pretty proud of me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I got a couple funsy questions for you.
Okay.
You ready? All right.
Hit me.
What's the best gravestone you've encountered? And by best, maybe we mean most memorable.
Ooh, that's so good. Most memorable. So, we recently did a trip with aforementioned Jake and Meg to other Jake, as we call him. We went to Salem, we went to New Hampshire, we did East Coast stuff, and we saw some really old cemeteries, and just like the like critical mass of like colonial era gravestones was like, it blew my mind. As a Midwesterner, where the oldest thing is from like 1860, this shit blew my mind. You know, it was really cool. The one that comes to mind, the one stone, although we always go to graves or cemeteries here too, and like find lots of really quirky ones that we love. The one that comes to mind is the grave of the York Witch in York, Maine. Which, like, Google it. The photos are great. It's the only one in the cemetery that has I forget what they call it, but a piece of stone like on the ground in addition to the headstone.
I don't know what that's.
What is that called?
What that's called either.
I forget. No, that's not a flagstone.
Somebody in chat, post it. Somebody who knows graves.
Sydney. Somebody. Help! Not the first time I've screamed for help from Sydney. So, but it's really cool because there's a picture of this woman who is believed to be a witch. She according to popular lore, she was, but she wasn't. She just died prematurely, and it was very sad. But the image of her on the stone's incredible because she has this extremely low cut dress. Like right across her nipples, right? Like you can just tell, like it is right here.
Like the person, like the artist, just like sculpted one or two little hairs, just like very subtle.
Very subtle, yeah. But she also has these two big buns, like massive, like space bun precursors, like right here, and they look like skeins of yarn. They look exactly like yarn.
That's cool.
And I love it. Yeah, it's fun. But like you can't beat a skull and crossbones. They're so good.
True. Yeah, that is very true. Skull and crossbones is always like, aha! Yeah. I know what this is. A grave. You don't have to question. Person. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I love old gravestones. That's a great question.
Thank the sleuths.
Good job.
Do you have any tips for hiking across a state?
Yeah.
What are your like top 3 tips for hiking across the state?
I bet Jake has some tips too. Jake would tell you to spend $50 on underwear.
I get it actually. As a fellow backpacker and hiker, good underwear. I mean, quick dry.
I know. He's right. That's the thing that's really annoying.
Yeah.
He's right. Yeah. So the context here is that Jake and I are walking. We're doing the Finger Lakes Trail, which is 580 miles across upstate New York. It starts in Allegheny State Park in the southwestern corner, and it goes to the Catskills. And we're just doing bits and pieces. Like we're not like hardcore, like like actual hikers.
Doing the whole thing 1 month.
We do not.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. We have jobs. If that was not already clear. like mad respect to those people. We are also not fit enough to do that. That's the real problem. But we go and we do like chunks every weekend or like when we can, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's every weekend. So that's the context. It is exhausting. COVID basically made me realize that I hated running and it was the worst thing ever. COVID also made it really uncomfortable because there are all those like infographics of people like spraying their germs.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, and in retrospect, that was stupid. But like, I don't know, it just wigged me out, and I kept hurting myself. It's like, screw this.
Yeah.
So we were already like occasional hikers. Like, we hike, whatever. We like outside. But we needed like an alternative activity, and we needed a way to just get out of the apartment. So we decided to do this. And parts of it have absolutely sucked. I cannot emphasize enough how much water you need. You need to take more water.
It's the heaviest thing that you have. It's the worst.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks so hard.
Yeah.
But you need all of the water.
Yeah.
You also need decent socks. And you need proper hiking boots. My dumbass was out there wearing this like really cute but dilapidated vintage pair of Merrell Ontarios, and I love them. They're so cute. They've got teal and purple laces, but like they're 25 years old,
and like their modern technology for shoes is very good.
Turns out it exists for a reason. Like you should just drop the money on a good pair of shoes. Like just put it on a credit card, buy the good shoes, buy the good underwear, get the extra like Camelback thing. Yeah, unfortunately, it's a cheaper endeavor than many, but it like I feel like to do it comfortably, to not put yourself through hell, you do have to spend a little bit of cash. So like, hit up that REI garage sale.
REI garage sales.
a little plug for REI.
Yeah.
Can you imagine life before REI?
I can't.
Can you imagine?
What was
did
that
people
like?
even do?
Just die. Apparently,
I guess
they just died. I have to say too, like, I don't know, Julie, like if you're, I know lots of people who are kind of skeptical about hiking because I bring this up occasionally in conversation, like, oh, I can't do that, like we're going on a hike, whatever. And people are sometimes like, oh, I like hiking, I like going to state parks and stuff, but I don't know about doing the other stuff. I'm like, I mean, sure, yeah, like it's a hurdle, right? There's a big difference between walking at a state park and going on a 26-mile hike in like the middle of nowhere. Totally get it, no shame. That sucks. Like there's a big difference. Nobody should do it. But like if you're thinking about getting more serious about hiking, I cannot recommend it enough. It's been so nice. You don't have internet. You see cute animals.
Yes.
We have found the coolest mushrooms, flowers, weird ass plants. We've seen all kinds of interesting like industry and ag stuff that I didn't even know existed. I don't know, like I'm slightly intrigued by maple syrup. I've had to read some books and stuff.
Maple syrup is so
It
cool.
seemed like it is cool, but like seeing sugar houses and the tap lines and stuff, like seeing that kind of infrastructure like up close and personal on these like really like actually kind of remote trails where there are no other people, so you can actually just like walk up or to whatever you want to see. It's so cool. Like you just have all day to like explore some stuff. Like just go have fun outside, and it's really nice. So if you're on the fence about like not state park hiking, like just go do a little bit. Like just figure it out.
Big agree.
Like you won't die. Like it's actually fine. You might be uncomfortable, but you won't die.
All right. I got one more funsy question for you, and then we you maybe thought that you were out of a game, but we do have another game.
I know. Good. I know. I'm here for the long haul, don't worry.
Okay. What can you tell us a story behind your username Egg Girl?
I can, and my parents will love this. Yeah, not the first time I've gotten this question, can you tell? So I am Egg Girl on everything, and have always been Egg Girl.
That's called branding.
It is. Like, take notes, plebes.
Take notes.
Like social media expert right here.
Oh my
god. So I like on every like social media thing I've signed up for, I've always been Egg Girl. Literally like since my first account, on like whatever it was. Because as might be evidenced by my chicken profile picture you might have seen, I'm very into chickens. I was, once upon a time at least. We showed chickens in 4-H. Jake's laughing at me. He's so pleased I'm humiliating myself. We showed chickens in 4-H. I was in 4-H for 10 years. I took it very seriously. Dad's favorite story about me is that I beat the big cock. This is something I shouted at a competition in Greenville, Ohio.
Oh.
I beat the big cock. Yeah. Greenville, Ohio, baby. But like I was like, we had to wear lab coats. We were very into showing chickens.
My gosh.
And so because we had lots of chickens, we had lots of eggs, and we sold the eggs. And the son of some family friends, shout out to Jack Meyer, decided to call me Egg Girl at school, which went over really well, as you can imagine.
Oh my gosh.
He was very cool. He was like a skater kid. I was very not cool. I was a year younger than him. But it really...
This makes it so much better that it's like a reclamation story. It's like you thought you could make fun of me. Guess what?
Yeah.
It's my brand. Wow, that is so powerful.
13-year-old Hannah really played that well.
Oh my gosh.
Like, wow. I've had that username for damn near 20 years at this point. Like, what?
Wow.
Like, I've used it for everything. Yeah, that was so really smart of me.
That's awesome.
It's something.
I guess the only chat question we have is Joel Chappening asks, how does he protect his chickens from raccoons? Which is something he's brought up a lot in chat.
How?
Any ideas, Hannah?
More chicken wire. I love that this is the only question in the chat. No one needs to know anything about me whatsoever.
Joel just really needs to know
how to protect the chickens. It is important. I think it's more important than me. Let's be honest. So I don't know. That depends on your coop setup, Joel. I don't know.
Joel, what kind of coop you got? You gotta explain the details.
You're gonna have to talk about this with my dad. Come on, Jimmy Davis, get in here. He built our coop. We had a beautiful coop, but we did have some things get in occasionally. We had a pit bull famously attack at one point. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if anything's gonna keep like a really hungry raccoon out.
You know, Jake said, which I totally agree with, befriend the raccoons, which are friendly creatures. They can be your allies.
Very true.
You ever see a raccoon at a protest? He's got a mask on.
He does. He's a very responsible protester. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Gotta keep those drones at bay. Yeah. Sticky fingers, though.
All right. Hey, if you heard a question that you liked, thank our interview sleuthing team. I'm so sorry that I always forget to say it at the beginning, and I try to echo it throughout. But we are a whole team of people here. It's not just me and Dom, even though you see us the most on the screen. It's a whole team of people who help make the questions for every interview. The wonderful and intrepid and amazing and fabulous interview sleuths. So if you heard a question you liked, thank them. While Dom introduces our game and I set it up. Are you ready?
Hannah.
Yes.
This is really important.
I asked this of everyone.
Yeah.
Have you ever made a tier list?
Excuse me?
Have you ever made a tier list?
The answer has to be no, because I don't know what you're talking about.
A tier? Well, you watched the show, correct?
I have, yeah.
Okay, so we love doing tier lists on this show because, they come from video games, but also because they're a great way of ranking everyday life, especially as they've gotten popular. Yeah. And we are here with the Egg Girl.
Egg Girl.
We have to do something in the history.
Yeah.
We have to make you a part of the history of tier lists on Twitch.
Right.
And one of the first very popular tier lists that was not about a video game, but was about everyday life that got popular with streamers doing it on Twitch was the egg tier list. You are Egg Girl, and I feel like it's time to bring it all home, and you got to rank the different preparation methods of eggs.
Okay.
Hannah, you think you can do this?
Maybe.
All right. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that as a yes for now, at least. We'll see if you have to back out. But so we're gonna go through. We're gonna go through the eggs on a scale from S to D. S is the highest. That's masterclass. D is barely passing. So we're
very small.
I'll tell you what's what as we go.
Okay.
Along.
Yeah. Okay.
The first one up is omelet.
Okay. Wait, so I only have 5 positions here.
Yeah.
And I have
you can stack them. You can do them all S. You could do them all D. You could do whatever. You could change it in the middle. You can make this tier list yours.
Okay. All right. Let's read through the egg options, and then we'll.
Okay. You want to read through them all first?
Oh, you want to go through them? You want to go through them all first?
Yeah, because I can honestly barely see them.
I will go through all of them except the last one because that'll be a reward for getting to the end of the list. Okay.
Those are soft scrambled. I can see those.
Those are what?
I think you are being predictive. You're onto something. It's
so
different.
we've got omelet.
Okay.
Poached.
Yeah.
Benedict. Over easy. Over medium.
Yeah.
Sunny side up.
Sunny.
Over hard.
Mm-hmm.
Soft boiled, hard boiled, scrambled, and the bonus at the end.
Okay. I'm gonna go like fried hard first.
Fried hard is at the top of S.
It is at the Yes.
Fried hard like this one.
I know it's unbelievable.
I just had to make sure I heard that correctly. fried hard is the S.
Fried hard. Yeah. Okay.
Because explain yourself, egg girl.
Okay, because okay, so my mom makes the best fried egg. You got it looks a lot better than that picture, I have to say. That's a soulless fried egg. You need bacon grease or butter, and you need pools of it. Like pools in a well seasoned cast iron pan. Like so much fat. And you need to be able to spoon it over the top. Like you need a proper, crispy outer layer. You can't none of this white shit. You need crispy fried egg with lots of salt and pepper. And it's the best. It's the best. Period.
I think fried hard is the best companion for breakfast meat.
That is true too. Yeah, that's totally true. Yeah. Okay. A is soft scrambled.
We technically haven't got to it.
I don't care.
Okay. So that is technically okay. Here we go, Hannah. That is technically soft scrambled until we Google image searched it. And do you know what that actually is?
I don't want to know.
That's Gordon Ramsay's soft scrambled eggs.
Okay.
That's the Gordon Ramsay sour cream, 3 different temperature and chives.
Does he really put sour cream in it?
Yes, he does.
It's very special.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's the special Gordon Ramsay first episode of every season of
yeah. Okay, that's funny.
But yes, they are soft scrambled, but they're so much
soft
more.
Scrambled.
I mean, if I had I did assume that they were that style of soft scrambled. If you had held me at gunpoint and forced me to guess whose soft scrambled they were, I would have guessed him. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I'm just again, I'm just after the butter.
This is no longer an egg tier list. It's a butter tier list.
Oh,
it's a
butter
how much butter
girl with the butter on her.
How much butter do you apply? All right.
Oh, God. Okay. Okay, and then next, not poached. I don't know who the hell. I know who. Jake.
Is that where do you want to put that? Do you want to put that somewhere?
Oh no! I think she's going from S to D. Let the god work.
Okay.
Let the goddess work.
Don't just. Thank you. So also poached and the eggs on a Benedict are the same thing unless we're discussing the hollandaise sauce.
I think we're talking about hollandaise.
Is that what's happening?
I think so.
Okay, well that's also disgusting. So
you can't see my face, but chat can. I'm in shock.
Okay, I really wish I could actually see the chat, but I'm focusing so hard.
That's very good. You're a very good guest.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
S tier guest.
Thank you. So we're gonna go with soft boiled.
Okay. And soft boiled is lower down in A tier, or is this the beginning of B?
That's a great question, Dom. That is a great question. It's not A tier. It's
Okay.
not.
Top
I
of
think
B.
that would be unfair. Yeah, top of B. Yep, right there.
Alright.
Yep, that's perfect. Yeah. And then I think scrambled.
Mhm.
Maybe other way around though. I don't know.
What
If I could
do you
top-
mean? You want to
If I could
put
put
it there?
Yes, there we go.
Top of B? Alright.
Just yeah, that's perfect. Okay.
Just plain
then-
old scrambled.
Wait, Hannah, I thought of an incredibly Bloomington, Indiana anecdote. A bunch of us were going to Soban on 10th Street, and
Perfect.
John Kay was walking by us, and like, "Oh, where are you going?" We said Soban, and he goes,
Soban.
"Oh," and he goes, "I love Korean food. Koreans and my grandmother, the two best jammy eggs in the world." I love a jammy soft-boiled egg.
I love John effing K. That's the most John K thing I've ever heard. Soban is great. I love
my
Soban.
gosh.
Soban.
Oh my gosh.
They do a good egg. He's
They
right.
do a jammy egg.
Yeah, he's totally not wrong. Okay.
But I like the uniformity of going the Gordon Ramsay eggs, and then anyone else doing scrambled eggs is the start of the tier below.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is what's happening, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
Let's see. Okay, poached. We're gonna have to put it at the bottom.
Just straight to D. Straight to D.
Oh yeah. So we're
Straight
gonna
to D,
do
folks.
poached and the Benedict situation right at the bottom.
Whoa. Now what's higher?
Benedict. Yeah.
This.
Because again,
Wow.
You're not a
Wow.
Butter.
fan of- You're just not a fan
Butter.
of
Wow.
circling
God.
hot water.
I
No,
was
for
gonna
some
say
reason.
like a ramen. I like you don't. Oh my gosh. This
no,
is.
that's a soft boiled. No, it's not poached.
No, poached
Ooh.
egg and
Sure,
ramen
I
is
guess.
amazing.
I mean.
I have
It's
done
just-
that. That's
I
some
don't-
boy shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
like good shit.
I
Put it.
I
cook it
do
in that
not
broth.
want. I don't want water with my eggs. What is that? Why? Like,
No egg
Jake
water.
got them at,
This is an anti-egg
No.
water stream.
Jake got them at breakfast yesterday, and he they came in a little cup as they often do, and he dumped them on his French toast, and I just saw like the water go with it. It was just no. Had that not happened, I might have changed my ranking, but that was repulsive.
Oh my god.
I didn't like that.
That was so gross.
No egg water.
This is shaping up to be a very bottom heavy tier list though.
Yeah.
I know. Okay.
That's cool. That's
hold-
opinionated.
I have opinions. Wait, what's the second one?
This is the
Over medium.
This is over medium. This is Sunnyside. This is over easy, right?
Over
Yeah.
medium. Over easy.
I mean-
sunny side in that order.
Yeah, so both of the flipped are gonna go in C.
Okay.
All right.
Over medium
Either-
first.
All right.
Over medium
that
first?
makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
This
That
is
tracks.
yeah. I was gonna say there's a pattern developing here.
see a pattern?
The cool
You
older
see a
brothers
pattern?
in S tier. Yeah.
Yeah. Sunnyside is gonna go. Ooh, see, I do like them. Actually, we're gonna put Sunnyside at the top of C,
Ooh.
first in C,
Ooh.
Oh, interesting.
because when you don't flip it, you let it sit on that side longer,
Oh,
right?
it's
And you
crisp.
get some of that nice crispiness. Yeah,
Crisp.
so it's a little bit
Crisp.
better.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
You got two final egg dishes.
this is ridiculous. I love it. Hard boiled. It's gonna go last in B.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Also tracks. And then an omelet. Are we talking like classic like French omelet? Are we talking like diner omelet?
I think we're doing classic egg and cheese omelet,
I think that's anything.
right? Classic
Oh,
egg and cheese
thanks T
omelet.
Papas.
Thanks, T. Papas.
We are gonna put it. Ooh, we're actually gonna put it after scrambled, the normal scrambled.
normal
okay.
scribbled.
So you got there's a big middle section.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a bell curve.
Yeah.
This seems fine.
It's a bell curve, yeah. Wow.
That was intense.
What a list.
I think I know what I'm having for breakfast tomorrow.
Jake, screenshot it.
Yeah,
right
everyone
now,
screenshot it. Clip it and ship it, baby.
Clip it and
I
ship
have
it,
to show my class. This is
You have to, and you have to say this is folklore, and
this is the folklore.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, best and worst egg.
I'm the teacher.
Yeah, I should probably like ask the professor next door to come over and like talk about it with us.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh wow.
What's the worst that could happen?
Wow. What a tier list.
Yeah.
I'm really proud. This is good.
From like most water to, or at least water to most water.
No, from most butter to least butter. We have an egg tier list here.
From grease to water.
Thank you so much for making our very official egg tier list on our wonderful show. And
that was amazing.
Thank you for being an awesome freaking guest. This was so much
Thanks
fun.
for being awesome freaking hosts.
Well, dang, you're welcome. The chat is popping off. Hey everybody, you know what to do. GG's for Hannah, ladders for Hannah. This was really fun. I pretty much haven't stopped laughing the entire time.
Same. Strong same. Massage it. Everybody take a massage break.
Take a moment to
just, you know.
If you didn't do it on break, here's your break now.
Have a special emotional. Quotes have had meaning on many levels. Making quotes helped me to get a sense of my own space, sense of finding my way, sense of really working my way out of the labyrinth.